Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about preparing for Team of the Year. I'm probably going to make an updated version once we get more news about Team of the Year, maybe once it gets teased, things like that, once I see some of the new events. But for anyone that is not aware, Team of the Year is one of the biggest events of the entire season inside of Hockey Ultimate Team. The reason why is that we end up with 6 cards that will always match their highest overall, meaning that there is no cost. They automatically upgrade for the remainder of the year. So if, let's say, Connor McDavid ends up with a Team of the Year card and you acquire that card, you no longer have to ever worry about paying for an upgraded cost to whatever the highest overall Connor McDavid that is released. So in this video, we're going to talk all about the resources and things that I think you should pay attention to and save leading up to Team of the Year. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, first, let's talk about the candidates because this is important. If this works like prior years past and how Team of the Year was run in at least the last year, the best player at each position for 6 total will end up with a Team of the Year card. I have a feeling that this is going to be different this year simply because Team of the Year is a pure marketing event. I mean, they send out the gold skates, all of that. They do, put on a big performance on social media, and I feel like they really limit themselves. I mean, for example, Connor McDavid is going to win the center position Team of the Year every single season, even though Austin Matthews cleaned up the NHL awards and has had an unbelievable goal pace during that time. I really see no way that Connor McDavid, who has basically a 2-point per game average during the span, it just doesn't win center for Team of the Year. Same thing with Cale Makar for right defense. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they get away from that position lock thing and just go with essentially the 6 best. But I want to talk specifically about some of the X factors that we know are going to win Team of the Year. One of them is Connor McDavid. If you have not acquired Connor McDavid or at least Cale Makar, I would be doing all of the sets that I possibly could because those two are essentially all but guaranteed Team of the Year. Even if it is not position locked, Roman Josi would win the left-hand defenseman one in my opinion. Cale Makar is going to lock up that second one. I just really don't see a way around it. So having those 2 X factors are going to be huge, and I'll talk about why in just a little bit. So what I would do is any way that you can acquire X factor cards, I would continue to keep doing that. So there's a couple ways to do that. Obviously, going through and doing the X factor sets every time there's a cooldown for the 50 gold players, I would do it. Reach out, try and get Connor McDavid, Cale Makar. You could also end up with McKinnon, Matthews, for example, or even Josi, who I think all have strong shots at Team of the Year. So make sure that you are doing these sets as much as possible. If you have a God Squad and you are looking at the seasonal rewards and you still have a ton, we're getting to that point now. I would definitely do the X Factor Player Choice Pack. You could shoot your shot on Gretzky and Mario in the Power Up Icon Choice Pack. I think that the cost kind of, in terms of getting 8 seasonal rewards, kind of nullifies it because I think I would rather have at least those ones if you are preparing for Team of the Year. These cards are not, the icons are not going to help you for Team of the Year at all. So at least having some of the options that have a potential chance to win. In terms of just points from the regular season, like Matthew Tkachuk has a shot at it. He's got the most points in the calendar year. You have to remember it's January 1st, 2022, all the way up until December 31st. So as it stands right now, Matthew Tkachuk is second only behind Connor McDavid, but you have to include playoff points, which is why I think maybe Matthew Tkachuk falls down just a little bit. Now let's talk about rewards. All right, so all season long, I've been telling you guys to take untradeable rewards for your rivals, and this does not change. The reason why is you want to have as much resources as possible. Coins are not going to assist you a lot in these events, and again, I'll explain why. These are the most sought after events. This is the time in which the player base will spend everything that they possibly have, and this year, more than any other year, coins are the easiest they have ever been to acquire. Because of the new milestone system and objective system, you are getting coins every time that you basically play the game, and it comes in quite abundance when you add them up. So people have been having a lot of coins, and there hasn't been a ton of events that have had a lot of banger master set players for people to spend their coins on until pretty much the spreadsheet hockey event, to be honest with you. So keep that in mind. If you are taking untradeable to build up a coin bank for Team of the Year, in my opinion, I don't think that's a really strong move because buying an untradeable Team of the Year player is going to at least cost you over 1 million coins, no matter who it is. Even the goaltender last year went for, I believe, 1.3 million, all because they have insane amounts of synergies and things like that, and they automatically upgrade. You never have to worry about it again. It's more than likely going to be Shesterkin, and even though Shesterkin isn't huge, he's actually been half decent in this game. So just keep that in mind, guys. I would not take coins for that reason. What I would do is I would save every single 83 and above player that I possibly could throughout the next few weeks. There are going to be a couple of events that come up very shortly, the next one happening this Friday, that is probably going to be very, very sought after because they are the first 90 overall cards. It looks like every month +1 overall is the kind of formula they are following. So they are going to do everything that they can so that you burn through your resources right before Team of the Year so that they, you rip packs so that you can get more resources. And obviously, if you're no money spent, you're not going to do that. You're going to hold strong and you're not going to rip packs in this game. How it will more than likely work as well when it comes to sets and the collectibles is it's going to be a lot like the value of Evo cards. So if you think back to the fantasy hockey event, those were about 800,000 coins in value to make one of these master set players. It is going to be close to that as well. So you are going to need a lot of cards, and don't forget, there is going to come a value bump. So when you see this next event for the 90 overalls, you might see a lot more 88s now in the game. It wouldn't stun me at all if 88s are definitely used for Team of the Year, maybe even 89s for collectibles. It depends how many 89s, like in terms of prime times, Team of the Weeks, all of that, are actually released at the time, but at least 88s. What you want to do is pay attention to the discrepancy in the cost. So as it stands right now, 87s are going for about 38,000 coins. There are, however, some 88 cards that are going for about 43. That's a pretty good value if you want to stock up right now. It's almost guaranteed that 88 overall cards will be used in the collectible trade-in set, so just keep that in mind. Again, you want to just be aware because 88s are not used in sets, so these are cards simply just used in game, and because the likes of Brad Marchand and Alexander Barkov skating do exist, you will see 88s pop up now and again that are around under 45,000 coins, and that might be half decent value when you consider you'll get a lot of collectibles for that. Once the event comes out, guys, these will shoot up in price. So I want to talk to the people that are no money spent, but they're more casual players. They only get to spend a few hours a week building their team. Team of the Year is probably not going to be for you. It's a lot like the fantasy hockey event. They are going to be exceptionally expensive, as they should be, because they will more than likely be some of the best cards in the game for the remainder of the game. What I would do is if you get any tradable high over 80 overall cards or 87s, you can stock up on them with the intention of selling them, because again, once those cards come out, the prices will shoot up. Right now, there's 10,000 cards on the market on PlayStation 5. That is going to drive considerably once Team of the Year comes, because everyone is going to be trading their cards in to try and build Team of the Year collectibles. You usually only have a week to do it as well, so it's going to come all real fast. So you can also take advantage, if you're not going to participate, by saving up cards that are tradable so you can sell them for a profit once Team of the Year actually releases. I also want to touch on X Factors and the trade-in possibilities if it works like prior games. So why I mentioned having Connor McDavid's X Factor and trying to chase Cale Makar's is because when this set's come out in the prior years, you've been able to trade in the highest overall Connor McDavid or Cale Makar, whoever won Team of the Year, for that Team of the Year card at a much reduced rate. Now, if you get 11 wins in champs, like I've mentioned, or even if you don't and you've saved up power-up collectibles, you could essentially get Connor McDavid all the way up to 89 for a very cheap price because you've got a lot of free power-up collectibles. What's huge is then you can basically knock off, if it works like last year, half the cost to get that Team of the Year. I need to make sure that you guys are all aware, just having the max X Factor version of these cards, if they win Team of the Year, it will not guarantee that you are going to be able to get Team of the Year for cheap. It will probably knock off about half of the cost, which is still huge because again, they're going to go for about 800k to make an untradeable card, so only having to save up 400 for this is a obviously much better state. For people that are taking tradable rewards or what to do with your coins, like I said, throughout this next month, especially when this new event drops and new event cards come out and there's more 88s and aboves on the market, I would not try and get any 89s or 90s because there's no guarantee that you'll be able to use those into sets, but I do think 88s for sure 100% will be able to use for collectibles, so watch out for cheap 88s and be buying them at a reduced rate. Around 42,000 coins is probably a nice buy, but also don't forget about 84s and 85s. You just want to make sure that you're keeping track of the market. For reference, the best times to buy cards like 84s and 85s is Wednesday and Thursday night because everyone's getting free rivals and squad battles rewards. The worst times to look for these cards is Monday through Tuesday, even Sunday as well, because no one is getting free packs, so there is not a lot of cards hitting the market. So just take a look at what the bare minimum price is and be stocking up. You are going to need a lot of 84s, 85s, 86s and above. You shouldn't need that many to get a collectible, but again, if you think back to the fantasy hockey event, they were very expensive. You needed a ton of 83s and 84s to get one collectible. It is not going to work like it did for milestones or spreadsheet hockey. Something else to keep in mind for anyone looking to maximize for team of the year is we are more than likely going to get team building sets and the upgraded versions into the 90s sometime in December. Now, I think there might be a delay into January because of how low the overalls are right now. I mean, we just got our first 90, which is great. They're being very, very careful with the power creep in this game. Team builder cards are probably going to take at least a 3 overall jump to a 92, maybe 93, and it is going to cost 2 of them. But whenever that happens, let's say it happens before team of the year, and it wouldn't surprise me because EA wants everyone to dump all of their resources right before team of the year, you could save all of your 82s and 81s. Anyone right now should be saving these cards because once those 90 plus cards come out, everyone is going to be trying to make them right now, and these are going to spike in price. Right now, the Arizona Coyotes, the New York Rangers, Tampa Bay Lightning, for example, are all very expensive, but they will go up even more. All of these cards will. The 80s, even the 74 to 79s, I would just be holding because last year we got the new team builders around middle of December. Like I said, I could see them wait until January, but because you're not going to use these in sets, never use the 80 to 82s in sets for events because the value just isn't there. I would be holding onto all tradable cards, especially if you're no money spent, and just wait for them. No need to trade them in at all. This is only going to apply to a very few amount of players, but if you don't have a lot of power-up collectibles or need for them, you could save up basically weeks and weeks and weeks of your Hut Champs collectibles and use them on Ultimate Choice Packs or Ultimate Packs for Team of the Year. I know a couple players that do this every year. They end up with about 20, 25 Ultimate or Ultimate Choice Packs because they just save their Champs collectibles all month or months long and do it for Team of the Year. This isn't a bad option. You're probably never going to pull an MSP, but you're probably going to pull some higher overall cards, which you can then turn into sets. Remember, there is a cooldown on these. I believe it's about 5 days long. So if you're going to do that, you got to think ahead because you need 5 days before the cooldown on these packs. So just keep that in mind if you are thinking of saving your Champs collectibles for packs for Team of the Year. You want to start doing that now, honestly. Lastly, MSPs. Guys, they are, like I said, going to release new events that have 90 overall MSPs. Spreadsheet Hockey had a lot of fantastic MSPs here, and you can see I made a lot. This is my God Squad. I like having the best cards, and I like trying them out and showing you guys so that I can actually give you good feedback on if I feel the card is good or not just look at the attributes on the screen. So I need to make it very clear though, I would not recommend doing this if you are trying to save for Team of the Year going forward. You can get MSPs every single event for free. They just take a ton of grinding, and I understand that it is not feasible for a lot of players, but it is still technically possible. You don't have to get the card all the way jacked up to its maximum. For example, in Spreadsheet Hockey, if you get a few of them done, you are able to make the 84 or 85 version, and that's fine. On my No Money Spent team, if you've been following that, I made Mackenzie Weegar, got him to 85, and I'll slowly upgrade him as I get these done. Again, if you buy or have a few of these cards that are cheap, I have some recommendations that I've talked about in the past. One, you could just play 1-minute squad battles on rookie, score a goal, and sit there. That's boring with 10 of these cards in your lineup. Alternatively, you could wait until 3v3 comes out in Rivals and then load up your lineup that is not on your 3v3 lines into your Rivals games and get the Rivals games done as well, and you will get credit for those cards even if they never touch the ice in Rivals 3-on-3 mode. So just something to keep in mind there. Seasonal rewards I do want to touch on real quick. If you have done the X Factor pack and you've got a very good team and you're obviously you've still got a lot of collectibles, I would not shoot my shot on Gretzky and Lemieux unless you're very close and they're the cards you're chasing. I would start looking at packs again just to get some overalls that you know that you can throw into sets as you go further. Just off the top of my head, obviously the 35 for the overall choice, 85 overall choice pack isn't bad. Same with Jumbo Elites. Jumbo Elites probably the best pack pack that you can get. It always gives out a ton of 80 plus overall cards. So again, just something to keep in mind. I'd probably burn my collectibles on that. For anyone that doesn't know, I believe December 21st is the first day of winter. Actually, that is when the fall seasonal collectibles will be done. And in the past, they've just done a 1-for-1 trade. So if you want to just wait, save all your collectibles, it does take forever though to do a 1-for-1 trade in for these collectibles for the winter ones. So just keep that in mind. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about in this video is just my predictions for Team of the Year as it stands right now. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I've talked about this a lot. I don't think that we are going to see position locked Team of the Year. Connor McDavid is locked in. Okay, he is absolutely broken in real life and in the game. If you get Connor McDavid's X Factor, you can upgrade him safely knowing that you are going to get a shot at his Team of the Year for a much cheaper price. I also think Austin Matthews is going to get Team of the Year. They take awards into account. He doesn't have the most amount of points. There's actually 4 players higher than him: Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, Mitch Marner even, and Kirill Kaprizov that have more points, but he has the most goals in that span, as well as all the hardware that came with it from last season. I think that he will get a Team of the Year, and again, it's a marketing event. It wouldn't surprise me at all. He is 6'3". He's got a great centerman build, and if you never have to worry about upgrading Austin Matthews, that's a phenomenal thing to have. McKinnon is interesting because he had a great postseason, so his postseason numbers, are very good. Here's the thing, though, is that he just got hurt, so you got to pay attention to that because it will probably impact his numbers a little bit as we go into the rest of the year, but he's still got a strong shot. I actually think that it might be Marner or Tkachuk that get that last forward spot, but I think it'll be McDavid and Matthews if it is position locked. Cale Makar is definitely going to get a Team of the Year. Like, there's no way around it. He's as much of a lock as Connor McDavid. But the other one is Roman Josi. I really think Roman Josi is going to get a Team of the Year card. Now, I've never been a really big fan of Roman Josi cards. I just think that he's an underwhelming skater in the game compared to some of the other options that come out. And he is 6'1", but he's not huge, and he never really gets a lot of good abilities for defensemen. Like, Send It on his X Factor card is probably one of the most pointless abilities in the game. However, he's a Team of the Year card. So if you've got all the big ones, the ones that are really expensive and sought after, and you get Roman Josi in a choice pack, I think it's pretty safe to say that you're going to be able to turn him into an X Factor. He's got the most points, including Cale Makar, in the regular season over the last calendar year. I just don't see how it's anyone else. Victor Hedman would be close, but I still think it's Roman Josi. And then in net, it is 1000% Igor Shesterkin. So again, if you get a choice pack of X Factors of 2 that you just really don't like and you get Igor, again, I think that with the start that Vasilevsky had this year, it was really bad. And Igor has been the best goalie in the league for the last 2 years now. So he is almost guaranteed to get the Team of the Year for the goaltender. So again, if you get a choice pack, it's not something I would go out and chase. But again, if you know that you've got a 3 choice pack of maybe a couple other ones that you really don't like, Igor is probably going to get it. So that's a safe one. Guys, I hope this helps and sheds a little bit more light. Again, any information that we get on Team of the Year, I will make sure to bring it to light immediately for you guys. If you have any questions in the comments section, I'll be happy to help. Also, please join my Discord. We've got 3,200 people in there. We talk HUT all day long, team build reviews, pack pulls. You guys want any advice, not just from me, but my entire community, make sure you join the Discord. The link is down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.